I got it. I'm not dumb. There we go. How's that?
He's definitely not a bass player. Anyway, Steve, thanks so much for being on the show, man.
Nice to be here, man.
Just cut to the chase here. Been a fan since Eat 'em and Smile. So,
oh, thank you.
Big fan for a very long time.
You look a little too young to be a fan of Eat 'em.
I'm going to be 49. I'm going to be 50 this year. So
all right.
I'm old enough. Yeah, I remember I was about 16.
With long hair and working on TV will do for you.
Amazing. Anyway, so yeah, big fan of. I remember looking for Flexible at the end of the 80s and going up every single record store on Yonge Street, up and down for an entire day and not finding it.
Yonge Street in Toronto?
Yes.
Oh, what a great street.
Yes, but they didn't carry a record.
Ah, damn them.
Walking into the first record store in Detroit and found it, and like, bam, got it.
Oh, right on.
So what I want to talk to you now, you've been a home recording guy since like forever.
Yeah. Actually, I've always had some kind of a home studio where I recorded. I always felt comfortable recording at home.
Exactly. And so what I wanted to talk to you about is, like I said, I've been listening since Flexible. You did that on an 8-tracker, was it?
It was a 1/4-inch 8-track, yeah.
Okay, great. And you've been right there with the technology as it's evolved over the years. And, you went from that to Passion Warfare to Fire Garden. Blew my hair back, by the way. I still crank that up every time when I get inspired. The production on that record was just freaking stellar.
Thank you.
And
Fire Garden?
Fire Garden, yeah. And just the whole Fire Garden suite was just mind-blowing.
Thank you.
Absolutely love that. And the tones you got on that were amazing. So, what were you doing? And like in terms of recording guitar, what were you doing then as opposed to now? How are you miking yourself these days? And what would you recommend to the kids out there who are trying to do this in their own places?
Oh, well, as far as miking,
yeah.
Well, it's a little difficult if you're in your home to play loud.
Yeah.
So there's a plethora of various kinds of boxes and stuff that you can get that'll help you go directly out of your amplifier into your recording system.
Of course.
And that'll give you a kind of a clean sound. The aux is tremendous by UA Audio. Mm. But as far as miking, that has evolved for me through the years, and a lot of it's based on who I'm working with and what I'm learning from them.
Okay.
So, and because there's so many variables when you go to mic a cabinet, take the player out of it, and the guitar and the amplifier and the actual cabinet itself, which the kind of grill cloth, the kinds of speakers that are in it, they all have things to do it, but we'll just talk microphones. You have to find the right microphone. Now usually the 57, which is what's on that cabinet there now, is the guitar workhorse microphone. But one of the things you're going to realize, and this was a huge awakening for me when it came to engineering and putting a mic in front of an amp, is how absolutely incredible much the tone changes just by taking the angle of your mic and where on the speaker you put that mic, meaning how close, how far, to the left, to the right. If this was the cone, let's say this is the cone, and you have a 57, there's various techniques that people use, and I've experimented ad nauseum to find the right tone. So if you take a 57 and you just put it like right in front of the cone like that, you're going to get a very harsh kind of a sound.
Right.
It's around in this area right in the corner of the cone that really kind of you can find the sweet spot. So the angle of the mic has everything to do with it too. So my go-to positioning for mics is basically maybe like if that would be a 40-degree angle, and right in the crease, right there, and about that far. What's very important is if you're using more than one mic. It's a lot to consider, because the one thing that always kills the sound is when two mics are not lined up properly, because it creates phase cancellation. So the distance that the two mics are should absolutely be as bulletproof similar as possible to where it is. The angle actually doesn't matter as much, because the angle changes the tonality in such a way that you can put one in one angle and one in another and mix the sound. But your frequencies have to be matched by the distance. And if you're even off just a hair, if you zoom into your two waveforms, you'll see that they're not lined up. And you really want them to be lined up or all the balls in your sound is gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll follow up on that in another episode. I'm going to show you guys what that's all about because I've had a few questions about that on the show. So you've got the new Synergy module. Are you recording in your place? Are you recording the Synergy amp? Are you using cabinets still? Are you using IRs? What's the deal at your place? How do you prefer these days?
Well, it's based on the song.
Okay.
I always try to do something a little different for each song. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes when you're listening to my music because the tone is really kind of like in your fingers.
Sure.
But ever since the beginning, I've kept changing and evolving through different amplifiers, guitars, effects, because it's fun.
Sure.
It's nice. You keep what you like, but you occasionally want to move on. And this new system that I have here, this with Synergy, is just like, it completely blew me away when I first learned about it, because it's actually modular, and these are actually preamp sections of authentic amplifiers, tubes. There's no latency, it's not modeling, but it's a whole amplifier. And I've got 4 of them in here, and then they go through an amplifier, actually, a power amp, and that blows the sound out. But I was so impressed with this system. The only problem that I had, even though they had this plethora of really great modules, there was still, I have a particular sound that's friendly to me as a player, sure. And I love Marshalls, I've used them, I've used Soldanos, I've used many amplifiers, but they always have sort of a conventional kind of a sound. Right. And when I started working with Carvin, I was able to manipulate that sound a bit to get something that was really right for my ear. And that even evolved. And the new evolution of that is this module, the Synergy module. It's really outstanding.
Now you guys are going to hear that module on the show real soon. I've got an SYN50 at home. It's fantastic. Loving the Plexi module, but I'm really anxious to give that a try. I love the detents, by the way. I think
isn't that like cool. Hello?
Yeah.
That's I love these detents, and also, one of these things is not like the others in color, obviously.
Yeah, it's super cool. All right, so that's Mr. Steve Vai on Spectre Sound. 16-year-old me is just kind of fangirling right now, just more than a little bit. But
anyway. Oh, you stop it.
Yes, exactly. But thank you so much for all the wonderful music. Thanks for all the inspiration, Steve. It's a real pleasure. Anyway, until next time, have a great day.